So good to see you. I have some people that are not, like Desiree Campbell's not coming.
So some of this is new.
They literally just emailed me.
Wait, how did I lose one person?
This isn't the one.
I don't know.
Hey, Beatrice. Beatrice, can you hear
Still
me?
need two people.
Thank you. Oh, Bronx fashion.
I counted Cynthia. I didn't realize Cynthia is not a board member.
Oh,
Beatrice, can you hear me?
yes. Yes, Molly.
Just to let you know, I spoke with Alfredo. He's stuck in traffic. He's on his way.
Okay, Alfredo's on his way.
All right, you can get started.
We can get
Thank
started.
you.
Yeah, we don't need a forum to start.
Excuse me, what?
I.
Sadie's there. Order, calling order.
Well,
Oh, I
let
don't
the
bring the
guys,
gavel.
Frank and John, you let us know when you're ready? Yeah. All right. They'll let us know when they're ready.
Perfect. The council members never replied.
I'm sorry?
The council members never replied.
You never what?
Replied about. Oh, we're ready.
Oh, okay. You good? All right, good. We're ready to roll.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Those on WebEx, Carmen, you can hear us? Okay, great. Well, good evening, everybody. Happy Thursday. I'm going to just read a quick note that I wrote. Good evening, my fellow board members. It is my absolute pleasure to serve as the first female chair of Bronx Community Board 12. I want to take this opportunity to welcome back our long-standing board members as well as our new board members who we will be meeting in a short minute. Thank you for your interest in serving this community. A community board is the entry level to local government. Our goal as a board is to assess the needs of this district, meet with the city agencies, and make recommendations in the city's budget process to address them. Community boards bring the council, groups, organizations, and local people together. Our aim is to look at local issues and find ways of improving them together. Our aim is to look at local issues collectively, and the value of the community boards is being able to listen, organize as a collective, respond to our local needs, and advocate for a better quality of life for all. There are many issues that are currently plaguing our community. One of them is the rise in the amount of shelters, migrant hotels, transitional homes, etc., that are located within our district. Our office only has a list of shelters that are run by DHS as of June 2023. We do not have a comprehensive list of other DHS, HHC, HPD, or OEM ones that are located within this district. I have put in a request with Councilmember Riley and Councilmember Dinowitz with the hope that they can share this information with the board or help us attain it if possible. This is not just a city level issue, it must be addressed at the state and federal level as well. As a board, we must discuss, address, and take a stand on these issues. Lastly, my goal this year is to develop a cohesive, effective board. I wholeheartedly believe that together we can and will make a difference. Thank you. And with that, I would like to just acknowledge our new board members, also our executive team, so that you're aware, Mr. Clayton Mike right here. He stepped away. He's our first vice chair. John Isaac, our second vice chair. Ms. Judith Benitez, our corresponding secretary. Michelle Broomfield is our recording secretary. Talene Dickerson, our treasurer. And so I will now pass the mic to our new board members. We will start with Robert Links.
Hello, my name is Robert Link. I'm an attorney. I live in the Woodlawn section of the Bronx. up on 239th Street. I got a couple kids, go to PS19. My wife Robin's also active in the community, and I'm very excited to join the board and work with all of you.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sandra Gross. I'm the TA president of Baychester Houses. I also live in Baychester Houses. I have a great grand that attends PS 112, and I am happy to be on the community board.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Javed Malik. I'm a new community board member. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I have a background in public health, and I look forward to working with all of you to make sure that our community has better health outcomes and a better form of life. Thank you.
Next.
Good evening. My name is Etonia Elizabeth Davis Lopez. I'm one of the Bronx 12 new board members. I'm also a proud alumni of PS 112 and Richard R. Green School. I am a service technician with the Board of Elections, which I just got upgraded to the poll site department, so I look for different sites in order to make sure that they're accessible and that everyone has access to voting. As well as I'm a vocational trainer and academic curriculum creator for K through 12 and all of our adult learners here in the Bronx for over 20 years. And I'm really glad to be here.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ariel Peters. I am born and raised in the Bronx. I am a paralegal. I help with community events, and also I've gone to school all the time in the Bronx, and unfortunately all my schools have been closed in the Bronx, so that is something that that I looked at, not having that type of home, but also realizing that, you know, the Bronx is changing. So that's one of those things where you said the schools that you were from, which is like beautiful. I was from St. Mary's, and that's not there anymore, but born and raised and proud of the Bronx, Wakefield area.
Thank you. We're going to move to this side.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Darren Grant. I'm a New York City firefighter and a Navy veteran, and I've been living in the Bronx for the last 35 years, and it's been an amazing journey for me, and hopefully being a part of this board will help me be able to give back.
We can pass it down. Next.
Hello, all. My name is Sheila Grierson. I am retired from nursing from Montefiore for about 30 years. I've lived in the Bronx my entire life since Co-op City was Freedom Land, if all of you remember. I've been up here quite some time. I live in the Eastchester Road area near Eastwood Manor, so I've been up there since there was about 3 houses on that street. So I'm very much attached to my area and very much interested in what goes on in the area. Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Denise Echevarria. I'm a New York City Union Carpenter. I was raised in the Bronx, went to Harlem Arcade, Colonial High School, Taft High School, and it was Taft High School. I live right in 33rd, and I live in Fort Lauderdale.
Hi, we can't hear online.
Is your microphone on?
I mean, tell
There you
it
go.
wasn't.
Okay.
Should I start over?
Start over.
Start over. Amen. My name is Reverend Reginald E. Paris, Pastor Reggie. I am a product of this very community, having went to PS 21, Sousa, John Philip Sousa, and Evander Childs High School. In addition, I live in the area on Paulding Avenue. I maintain a business myself, as well as my dad. He was not only a member of this same community board, but he maintained a business on Bronxwood Avenue, Paris Insurance Brokerage. My church that I pastor is on United Christian Baptist Church, which I invite you all to, located at 713 East 222nd Street. And I look forward to work with all of you making a difference in this, our community. Amen.
Thank you. Okay, any other new board members at the end? Yes, introduce yourself. You're a new board member, right?
Yes. Does this work?
Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Hi, my name is Deborah G. Tirado. I grew up here in the Bronx also, 3511 Barnes Avenue. I'm also a retired New York City bus operator for 29 years. I also went to PS 76, Olinville, and I graduated from Evander. And so I'm here, I've been here for a long time. As a New York City bus operator, I also worked in this community for almost 20-some years. So I'm very familiar with the area and the community.
Thank you. Katrika, you're virtually joining us. You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, my name is Kartika, and I was born and raised in the Bronx. I could not make it, I'm so sorry. Feeling a bit under the weather, but I'm excited to be part of the board, and I do a lot of community work throughout New York City through the Center for Justice Innovation, so I'm excited to be part of this.
Thank you so much. Any of our new board members that are virtually with us?
Yes, good evening. My name is Victor Brown, and I've lived in this community for 52 years. I've been a member of this community board for 21 years. Okay. So
Thank you, Mr.
I have a history here. I'm a retired information systems manager, long retired, and I'm a member of the North Bronx Seventh-day Adventist Church. Anybody that needs to get any information about that or about me, I'm available. Have a good night.
Great, thank you. Okay, thank you all. Welcome all. We're super excited. New energy, new challenges, and we're going to get through them together. I'm going to switch the agenda a little bit. We have our council member Riley here with us, and we're going to give him the floor. Welcome.
Hello? All right. So first and foremost, thank you to everyone here for your services. Welcome to the new members. It's really exciting to see you all. So I just want you guys to know this. The community board is very vital to the success of this district, this community. Since being in office, working with you all, we have done a lot of amazing things, and we have more amazing things to do. So I just want to give it to you all, because this is not a paid position, this is a dedicated position, and these are people that are dedicated to changing the community for the best. So I just want you guys to give a round of applause to yourself, all right? So, Councilmember Riley, for those who don't know me, served the district for 2.5 years now. I'm just going to go over a few community initiatives that we've done, and I know a lot of you are inquiring about the shelter, so I'm going to start with that first. So my office actually sent the mayor's office a letter to request the list of shelters that are in the district right now. Many buildings that are up, and if you guys pay attention to the blue and orange building that's on Boston Road, that building is now an asylum seeker shelter. A lot of the buildings that were supposed to become affordable housing, they're now finding a way to turn them into asylum seeking shelters, and that's something that we're trying to get from the administration right now. So as soon as, and we'll share that letter that we shared with the administration so you guys can see exactly what we put, but as soon as we get that information back, we'll let you know. And I just had a meeting with the mayor's team saying we asked them for that information again, and they assured to us that they will get it to us. So as soon as I get that information, I'll let the chair know, and then we'll share that information with you guys. Sounds cool? All right, thank you. Initiatives that we've been working on with the community board per se. You guys know the water resiliency in this area is really, really affecting a lot of the homeowners. A lot of the homeowners are getting a lot of damaged properties. So we're really trying to host not more community conversations, but we did the rain barrel giveaway. But excuse me, we are hosting a community conversation where we're inviting DEP over here so we could kind of figure out how we could implement some legislation to actually address that issue. Many homeowners, especially in the Wakefield section and in the Olinville section, are seeing tremendous damages anytime that there are floods. And this weekend, there's supposed to be another flash flood coming. And there's really no assistance or help for them. The initiative that was put together by the governor and the city actually addresses a lot of the homes in Southeast Queens. But there's nothing about the homes that are happening in the Northeast Bronx. So this is something that we're pushing, and we wanted to have this community conversation with DEP and with the administration so they could know exactly what's going on here with our homeowners. This district is predominantly a lot of homeowners, and we want to preserve that in this community. Another thing is land use. My team, many of you know I'm the zoning and franchise chair, so a lot of the land use projects go through my committee. Our office, the land use team, and also the community board, we host a few tours that we did in the district to see how we could capitalize off of land use. So usually a lot of the issues is people always say developers are coming in our community, we don't know what's going on, and we want to be proactive. There's a lot of vacant land. The bike shop that just burned down, that's a lot of vacant land, and we want to make sure that we're utilizing the land to the best of our community's ability. So that's something that we want to do, and the land use team just told me today that they're putting together that plan, and we're going to come back to the community board. We really want to educate the community board on land use and how different zoning changes and regulations go, and we believe that's extremely important, okay? So I want you guys, who's the land use chair in here again?
Carl Striger's not here, and
Carl?
Mr. Link is the vice chair.
Mr. Link, so you and our office have to work very closely together to make sure that we're ensuring this, okay? I have a plan for White Plains Road, and that's gonna have to take some land use and zoning changes as well. Unfortunately, a lot of the businesses on White Plains Road, is anyone familiar or cognizant with Fulton Street in Brooklyn? All right, so you guys saw Fulton Street about a decade ago. You remember how it looked? You saw Fulton Street now? It looks really, really different over there now. An idea that we have in our office is to kind of capitalize on how we have utilized the land over here and not change the zoning too much, but in order to do that, we need to know what possible zoning changes can happen over here. And once that plan is put together, we want to come to the board with the plan so you guys could amend it, change it up, see if you guys want to add anything to it, but we have to fix White Plains Road, everyone. We can't keep putting police officers there. Police officers are literally on the corner and the guys are on the corner with them. We can't continue to form a bid. I'm trying to do a bid, and we did the oath event with you guys where we had the oath agency come and try to help small businesses with any issues that they were having. Only one business showed up in here that day. So we have to get more people to buy in, and this district does not have a bid, and that's something I'm advocating for. But in order for me to do that, I need more businesses to buy in over here. So there has to be a more comprehensive plan on what we're going to do with White Plains Road. So I just want you all to think about that on the top of your head, because that's something that we want to make sure that is done. Lastly, because I don't know if you guys have any questions, I just want to talk about a piece of legislation that Councilmember Dinowitz and I introduced last stated. Intro 1167. So a lot of community fires. I don't know if you guys remember the fire that happened at PS 103 in Wakefield Avenue, and we had to house everyone at PS 103. We want to have more rapid emergency response centers in districts where you can actually provide resources for people. So a lot of people that have clothes, food, batteries, chargers, things of that nature. We introduced a piece of legislation that we actually will create that within each district. We think that will be more comprehensive, that if there's any more fires, which the Bronx, you know, there's a lot of fires, there'll be a place that these individuals could actually go to get these resources. Okay? Madam, should I stop? Because I don't know if anyone has questions, and I don't want to jump into too much.
Any questions from our board members? Yes.
Thank you so much for coming. My name is Luke Sabados.
Hey, Luke.
And I was wondering, with regards to White Plains Road...
I'm sorry, one second, Luke, because we can't hear. Can everybody put their phones off, please? Thank you.
We are lucky to have an elevated train there, which provides really great transit access. It's got a third track, which could provide express train access, but we don't really have the density to justify to the MTA to increase service too much. I'm wondering if you'd be able to, or be interested in advocating for more transit access, improved signal timing, elevators. Really, we want more frequency of service on the 2 and 5 trains.
Of course.
Thanks.
Of course. And the reason why I'm looking at density, a lot of the homeowners want to downsize, but they want to live in the district. There's nowhere to build. I mean, there's nowhere to live in this district. My district is bottom 3 out of 51 members. We're producing housing in the last decade. We have not produced any housing over here in the last decade compared to other districts in the Bronx. So that's something we have to change. But instead of developers coming to the district, I want us to be more proactive and be like, hey, this is the area that we could build at. This is the area that we could build at. And that's something that the community board, myself, and I want to work with all of you guys, but the community board, myself, and the land use team have been doing. Anybody else? Mr. Hall?
Hello? Can you hear me? All right, Councilman, I just, first of all, we did have Williamsbridge Gardens, which was the only thing on 211th Street. That's the only.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think it's on. We had Williamsbridge Gardens that took place in the summer, and it was 170 units of housing. It was Section 8 primarily. Other than that, I was wondering on a federal level, do we have any assistance for these homeowners that have housing that's falling apart?
I know that the Bronx Neighborhood Housing Services, we're trying to advocate to get them some more funding this upcoming budget so they can help homeowners out with that. But they do have a program in there that they can help homeowners whose houses are being, I guess, breaking down, and they don't have any funds to do that. So the Bronx Neighborhood Housing Services actually are trying to address that concern now, if I'm not mistaken. But my office could look into if there's any federal. Maybe we could work with Congressmember Bowman, who serves majority of the homeowners over here, to see if we could advocate, to see if we could get some more funds from the federal government.
Thank you.
Councilman Riley, thank you for joining us.
I hear your name, bros.
Darren Grant, thank
How
you
you
for
doing,
joining
Darren?
us. I just have a question. I heard you mention about the revamping of White Plains Road and the effects of businesses, and that sounds like something that's in a longer-term project. Currently, if you've been down White Plains Road, the parking situation is the huge thing affecting White Plains Road's businesses right now. What is something that we can do in the short term and interim of your long-term plan to have that enforcement so that businesses can have flowing customers and business that comes in and out?
I think DOT has to put the proper signage up for how you're supposed to park on White Plains Road. As we were coming here, people were parking horizontal, vertical. I'm gonna find the spot where I could find the spot. There's no direction or signage there that tells you to do 90 degrees back angle, which I think will probably be the best alternative right there. But we're trying to push DOT. We brought them here with FDNY, with communities, with the community board and the businesses, but there's no adjustment. We actually had a conversation with the mayor's office today. And currently right now, the biggest issue is we don't have a commissioner in the Bronx. Once we get a commissioner in the Bronx, a lot of our concerns will be heard more. But the direct issue that solution that we're trying to address is to have signage on how you can park on White Plains Road. That would give the enforcement to the parking agents that they can actually give ticketing, because right now there's just no way you could ticket people because everyone's kind of parking everywhere.
Any other questions from our Carla?
Hi, I'm Carla Borsati,
Carla.
Environmental Concerns Committee and Land Use Committee. So I've been told that there is a White Plains Road Merchants Association, but there's no activity.
Yes.
So now we're trying to do a bid. So how does that work? Are we going to have two organizations And
So when I came into office, they told me about the Merchants Association, but I can't find anyone to kind of organize with. So I'm imploring anyone, if you know anyone a part of that association, I would rather start there, opposed to bringing something new. But if there's nothing there, I wanted to bring in the bid just to address the issue that we don't have a bid. And there's no support for the small businesses. So if you know someone from the Merchant Association, please connect us. I would love to connect with them.
okay, I'll email your office. My understanding is it was formed by Mashalou Preservation Corporation, but they don't actually initiate meetings. So it exists, so nobody else can make one. So somebody has to do something to initiate activity. So, but I'll share the contact I have with your office.
Thank you. Mr. Reed?
Hello, family. Welcome. First of all, I'd like to say happy birthday to Ursula.
Happy birthday, Ursula.
Woo, 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 woo. Hey, Kev. Yeah. Hey, Kev, just for clarity, right? For those people that don't know what a bid is, could you tell them what a bid is and also explain to them the benefit of a bid?
BID stands for Business Improvement District. So usually when you want to highlight any concerns for the businesses on a specific corridor, they will go to the bid. They will advocate for funding through the bid as well to help any of the businesses that are failing. So it's very beneficial for our White Plains Road, like you said, is adjacent to an elevated train station. So a lot of the business over here are supposed to be very, very successful, but there's a lot of dead stores over here. You don't know what's really going on in a lot of the stores that have the curtains over it, and you don't know. So what the bid will actually do is be a resource for them, for the businesses in a specific area. Just like how, I think the closest bid that we have is the Jerome bid, right? Yeah, the Jerome bid. So you see the issues that just happened, like a lot of them have an issue with the bike lane or bus lane. That's something that the bid could kind of advocate against if we had one. Correct.
I have my hand raised, but I'm not sure if you can see it, being that I'm online.
Excuse me?
I have my hand raised, but I'm not sure if you can see it, being that I'm online.
We can see
So
it,
I don't know
Damon.
if
We
I
will
can-
get to you shortly. Thank you.
Okay.
Ariel?
Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, Ariel.
My question is for people who are not familiar with White Plains Road. I know that you mentioned what Fulton is right now. Basically, I know that you said you guys are going to bring the plans to the committee for any amendments, but what is the initial plan in reference to White Plains Road? Like, I heard that maybe it was like a farmer's market, a skate park, things that I don't know if it's supposed to represent the community or if it's supposed to be things brought into the community for the community. So is there any kind of reference that you can give of what the idea of that is supposed to look like in the further future?
Yeah, we're still planning it out, but the kind of idea is you rezone White Plains Road. So instead of, I don't know the zoning now, it could be a commercial overlay C2, I'm not too sure, but you would change the zoning where you could build housing on top of it, and then that will attract better businesses in the area. So in order to attract better business in the area, we have to have some density in the district, but I don't want buildings. Like, I don't want a 9-foot building on White Plains Road, but if it builds up like 2 to 3 stories where you can add more housing in the area, that will attract better businesses to come here, and that's what we're trying to do. So I'm thinking about having a clinic on White Plains Road, better supermarkets on White Plains Road, restaurants that we can actually support, sit out, go eat. That's kind of the idea that I'm getting to have in White Plains Road. That will bring not only jobs to this area, but it will make it more beautifications to the entire strip of White Plains Road. But this plan is still formally, and I'm still thinking about it, but that's kind of the sense of the idea.
We have more questions, and I know some of us have been talking about. Yes.
Davis had a question.
Thanks. Hi, Councilman.
Hey.
So, as a new member of the committee with my counterpart here for environmental concerns, I wanted to know if there was any plan to incorporate those ideals into NYCHA housing. Because we already know we have ongoing infrastructure problems with NYCHA housing in terms of heating, electricity, just basic, things of living. So as we continue to improve the area that's around those houses, what are we doing to make sure that those initiatives get set off and improving inside of housing that we already have?
That falls really, we're working with each development. I know Mr. Hall and Ms. Gross, who Baychester and Gun Hill houses, we work directly with them to find out what the concerns are in the in the development and see how we could upgrade them. A lot of our developments are going into the RAD program where they're going to be controlled by management, different type of management, which Baychester's in and Ms. Gross loves the program. Edenwald's going in that program, Secor's going in that program, and Eastchester's going in that program. So Mr. Hall is probably the only one left that's going to be a full NYCHA development. And now I got Parkside. I'm going to have Parkside next year. So I'm going to be gaining another NYCHA development also. But we work directly with those members because I know the issue in Parkside, they have a senior center issue. The senior center hasn't been operating for years, and that's something that they want to address. So every development is different, but we're working directly with them. Mr. Hall had a security issue, and we just got him, what, $300,000 to $600,000. I'm lowballing. $600, close to $700,000 for them to put in security cameras over there. So it depends on the development, but we're going to continue to work with each and every one of them. Even Ms. Gross, she has a management company, but we still work with her to make sure that she's taken care of over there.
He worked with me and my residents to help us get our community center back from MMC. And we appreciate it and we thank him very much.
Okay. Ms. Benitez?
Hi, I'm Judith Benitez, and I'm also the chair of the Economic Development. And I'm going to do a follow-up to Carla Basardi's comment. In reference to the president or the chair of that White Plains Road corridor, that person has stepped back and is not involved anymore. You might see them maybe at Christmas, but as far as anything else, he's not there. So I think we were trying to get Marshall involved in this whole process with the corridor, so maybe we need to coordinate and see what we can do from that angle.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Benitez.
Okay, we're going to move to our virtual board members. I just want to remind you that your cameras have to be on. Damon, Kartika, any board member that is joining virtually, your cameras have to be on. Damon, we'll start with you, but please turn on your camera.
I'm in transit right now, so I'm not sure if you can see me or not, but I turned my camera on.
Go ahead.
Okay, so my question would be, as a new board member, when you say White Plains Road, can you define what do you mean by White Plains Road? What are the borders that you're speaking of?
So the borders that I currently have in White Plains Road, I believe it's it's by Allerton, the block before Allerton. I'm sorry, I don't have that on top of my head right now, to about 225th. That's where the new redistricting lines are going to be. AD, thank you. AD to 225th on White Plains Road. But I think the idea that I'm talking about, David, is pretty much from Gun Hill to 241st. So that's Community Board 12 right there. Myself and Councilmember Dinowitz District. So that's pretty much the corridor that we're kind of focused on.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kartika?
And like I stated, I want to make this clear. This is a plan that we all are going to put together. It's not me, it's we all. But I just have to present something to you guys so you guys kind of know what we're trying to, do over here.
Thank you. Kartika?
Yeah, I had a question regarding like the creation of this plan or idea. Is there an initiative in place to kind of gather or generate ideas from the community members beyond the community board? And if so, what does that look like? And if not, is there a way that can happen?
So what's going to happen first is we're going to be doing the education aspect of it with land use. So that's the first plan. So the land use team is going to come in here. They're going to educate the community on different land uses. Different land use regulations, different zoning regulations. Then after that, we're going to create this plan. Give it to the community board. The community board is going to amend this plan. Then there's going to be a heavy campaign because we're going to have to get a lot of these homeowners that live behind White Plains Road, between the corridors of White Plains Road to Bronxwood, to buy in on this, because we are talking about density. This is more people that are going to be in the area. So this is going to be a heavy campaign. Once we get it through them, which is going to be another set of amendments, this is something then we'll be able to send through the borough president's office, who will also be going through this and want to do the amendments as well. And then it will go down to city council. So that's why it's going to be a very long plan, because we want to make sure we're getting everyone's input on it. So it's going to be a heavy campaign. I project the campaign is going to be like a year. Because it's going to take a lot of buy-in and a lot of community input. And Simone? Simone, I think you got to talk in the mic. Come.
Yes, please.
Gotcha.
Hi, guys.
Thank you.
So to also add to your question, I'm
Introduce
Simone.
yourself, Simone, so you know you're talking.
My name is Simone Jones, guys. I'm Councilmember Riley's Chief of Staff. And to answer the community portion of it, our office hosts monthly community conversations, like small town halls that matches the community board, how you guys meet once a month. Our office hosts meetings once a month. And so at these once a month meetings, we have legislative think tanks, zoning think tanks. So as the plan is happening and we're laying it out, the community members who attend those meetings, in addition to our tabling and other community events, it's really a working meeting. So we'll be working through plans, looking at things, writing up ideas, drawing up ideas to put it together. So there'll be monthly check-ins with community members who can come in and give their input as the plan is being created.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you, Simone. We're going to pass the mic to Michael Holster. You're on mute. Okay, last question. Luke, you had. Deborah?
Thank you. My question to Ms. Jones and Councilmember Riley would be, how do you get the information out for these community conversations? And if there is a list of some sort, how do you get your name put on that list?
So we usually send it out through email. So if you have, if you give in my office your email, we give out a blast anytime we do an event. We use a lot of social media to promote these events as well. And what we'll do is, moving forward, we'll send it to the community boards. We'll send it to all the community groups. We're trying to get as much people as possible. So this month we hosted an education town hall with updating everyone what we've done with the DOE since we've been in office. The next one that we're hosting, I forgot the title for the next session, but we'll send you guys the flyer so you can actually come out to the meeting. Okay? Yeah. And also, was that the last question? Every third Wednesday will be the community conversation. So every third Wednesday we will have a community conversation within the district, and it will be several different subjects, from public safety, housing, economic development, you know. That's something we're gonna add, because the first one we didn't do virtual, but that's something that we're thinking about adding moving forward. But we just have to make sure the setup at the location that we pick, because the whole purpose is we want to move around the district to get more civic engagement.
Deborah, that was it?
I can't hear.
So I stated that I get the information as a community board member, but what if I'm just a community member that lives on 216th Street? How would I get this information?
Well, I'm hoping we all will spread the message here to everyone. If possible, I would love to mail stuff to people, but that's very expensive every time we do an event. So we're gonna possibly be doing a lot of word of mouth. Something that we do, Speaker Hasty, Senator Bailey, we do, what is it, Operation Pull Up On Me, where we go to different households and we kind of engage with them and let them know what we're doing, get their email addresses, and then we send them out. But we're gonna hopefully utilize the community to kind of be our voices as well. Yeah, of course.
And if if I can add, Ms. Walker, we are currently in a blackout period because of the impending elections. So for the months of October and November, we are relying heavily on our community partners and non-for-profits that we send the information to share it with their individual memberships. We're looking forward to, in January, starting Operation Pull Up On Me, when we can go and really drop it in individuals' mailboxes and things of that nature, do some grassroots organizing and door knocking with it, getting the information out there. But right now, because of the election blackout, we can't do that in these 2 months. But it'll be coming. We'll probably knock on your door once or twice. Yeah.
Okay, Luke?
Not to put too much stuff on your plate, but I've spoken with a few board members, and there seems to be a little bit of interest in looking at Boston Road and how we can revitalize that. There's a lot of stretches where housing is just forbidden. So if you were interested, maybe that's something further down the line, but there might be some interest.
I'm always interested in upgrading and improving our community. I think White Plains Road has been the priority because of what's currently going on at White Plains Road and the fact that it's adjacent to so much transportation. So that's why it's been a priority. But yes, Boston Road, nothing's off the map. We want to make sure that we're being proactive and we're not allowing people to come in our district and tell us how they want our district to look. So I figure like this is the best approach. And as being zoning chair, I could tell you like a lot of communities never know the project coming into the community, and the ULA process, which is 90 days, isn't enough to educate the entire community on specific land uses and regulations. So that's why we want to be more proactive. But yes, Luke, nothing's off the table. And if that's the last question, if anyone wants to take out a pen, I'm gonna give my cell phone number here in case you have a question and didn't have an opportunity to ask me today. It is 646-596-4898. Once again, 646-596-4898. I have a few business cards here, so I'm going to put them right here by the chair. And there's so much updates I wanted to give you guys, but I know your meeting is long, and I don't want to, keep you guys here. So please just contact us, come to our community conversation, and we're looking forward to continuing to working with you all. Thank you.
Wait, one last thing. Thank you so much for the time. Give me 1 sec, Anthony. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your ability and willingness to stay connected with the board. Another thing that we did mention and we've been talking about is possibly doing something like La Marqueta in Harlem, but up here in our district. So that's another thing we'd like to connect on.
Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes. Have you heard of La Marqueta in Harlem under the train station on
Is that like the street
Harlem?
festival type of thing?
Spanish Harlem?
Okay. Yeah.
Manhattan?
Yeah.
So we would love to do something like that here in our district. We can talk more, but it's a beautiful market. It even has a bakery where women that live in shelters or work in the bakery community kind of restaurants and entrepreneurs. And so if we can discuss that further down the line.
Okay. And I almost forgot one thing. So the White Plains Road idea also came from, are you guys familiar with Wakefield Village? That big project that's coming? That's going to be a very, very important project to White Plains Road, because if that's successful, you're going to have a lot of developers wanting to come over here and build over here. So this is even why we want to be proactive and come out first with our plan, because if Wakefield Village is successful, tons of developers are going to come to this area, and then they're not going to give us enough time to do a campaign, educate the community. So that's why we're trying to get in front of this now. So Wakefield Village won't be here no time soon, but if we start now, by the time it gets here, we'll have our plan in place, so they will have to abide by our plans. Okay? Mr. Reed?
Yes. Last question. Being that the neighborhood is transforming, it's like a mosaic. There's a lot of. Is it any kind of way we can have Spanish as a second language? Like they have English as a second language. Can we set up some places where we can have Spanish as a second language? Because, it's a language barrier. Like, and there's other languages here, but I'm just saying, just to connect, because the disconnect is the language barrier. And,
No, most definitely. Yeah. Yes. Short
I know they
answer,
have
yes.
English as a second language, but they have a lot of other languages. Like, at least have some options where we can.
Short answer, yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. I have to run to Eastwood Manor for another event for Dr. Johnny Goff, so I'm leaving right now, okay? Thank you, everyone. Oh, and Cynthia Prisco from my office, who's amazing, she's still going to be here, all right? Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Now we're going to move on to the next section of our agenda. Again, reminding our board members who are virtual, your camera must be on or your attendance can't be counted. We're moving on to the public gallery session. John, would you like to introduce?
Jose Garcia.
Jose Garcia. Jose Garcia. Okay, next.
Debbie Colwick. Am I saying that right? Debbie? Debbie Colwick.
Okay. Anyone joining us virtually for our public gallery session?
Can you explain what the public gallery section is?
I'm sorry.
Hi, everyone. It's Josie Garcia.
Josie Garcia.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Josie.
Okay.
Welcome.
So I'm here for a couple of issues. Right now, the most immediate issue. Can you hear me over there? Oh.
Yes, Josie. And just to remind you, you have 3 minutes. Go ahead. We can hear you.
They told me to stand here and to talk to
Yes,
into the
we
mic.
can hear you. Go right ahead.
They said they can't hear me.
We can hear you, Josie.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. It is a time delay. So I'll continue to speak and wait for your answer. So I'm a resident of this neighborhood. I moved recently. I've lived in the Bronx for now more than 20 years. However, I just moved to this community board at the end of 2020. Okay.
Go ahead. We can hear you. You have 3 minutes.
So the main issue that I'm having at the moment is a lot of abandoned cars. I just bought my house 2 years ago. The area, I don't want my property value to be affected by having abandoned cars in the area. As soon as if the cars do not have any plates and I report it, sanitation picks them up. The issue are those that are abandoned with plates that NYPD has to approve and verify, but within 24 hours of submitting the request, NYPD closes the request. So I have no idea how to move forward. I've reached out to the community liaison. I don't know if that person is any longer part of the NYPD, but I'm here to ask for assistance in addressing this issue and what can be done to prevent more cars to be abandoned in my area. The other issue was about the water issue. I actually, less than a year of me owning the home, I had almost 4 feet of water from Hurricane Ian, and we've had 8 homeowners. We've reached out to different people. DEP told us that that's a private issue and we have to take care of ourselves. So I'm glad that Mr. Riley spoke about that. But right now, for tonight, I would only want to focus on the abandoned cars issue, and I'll be back for the other issues.
Thank you. Ursula and George, or George?
Real quick, just a response. Ursula and I met today with the precinct commander. His name is Corabell, Inspector Corabell. And we addressed some of the issues of the abandoned vehicles, the tractor trailer parking. He asked for a little patience. I know you said you've been here for a little bit now. We have and share the same concerns that you do. I'll speak a little bit more later about some of the other things that we spoke about, but your issue of the abandoned vehicles, I'll take the addresses as well, or the type of vehicle, and I'll follow up directly with the commanding officer. Okay, I will do that. Thank you. Debbie.
Okay, we're gonna move on.
Okay,
can I speak?
One more person.
I'm sorry.
Debbie?
Can I speak?
First, we're doing in person, and then we will go on to our virtual. Thank you.
Can I speak? Can you hear me?
Give us 1 second.
We have
Okay,
one more
thank you.
person.
We are going with our in-person attendance first.
Debbie?
Debbie?
Can you hear me?
Patricia,
Hello?
Patricia, we need you to mute yourselves. We're moving on with somebody in person first.
I am in person.
No, you're not
in
here.
person
You have to
first.
be. Give us 1 second, Miss Patricia. Thank you.
Hi, yes, this is actually the first time I'm actually at a CB12 meeting. I am a member of CB11, but I have come before the Transportation Board the Transportation Committee a few times before, and I was just kind of wanting to know of any update with the request of Steinwick Avenue being turned into a one-way over by PS 189 and an all-way stop sign over at Reed's Mill Lane, which is just, not too far away from PS 189. It's near the I-95, so I was just kind of wondering what's the status of the one-way conversion over in that area.
Thank you, George.
We haven't heard back from DOT on that issue. They were supposed to do a study of that area. We haven't heard back from them. So I'll follow up. I'll follow up for the next transportation meeting.
Thank you. And we'll ask George and Ursa to follow up as well. Moving on now. Now we're going to go to our virtual attendance. Patricia?
Yes, thank you.
A reminder that you have 3 minutes.
Okay, yes. I wanted to address, there is a homeless tent that has been built on the corner of
I'm here now.
Bartow
Sorry.
Avenue and Edson Avenue.
Patricia, give us 1 second.
Okay, I'm my call.
I'll let you know. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, so I just spoke to Ursula, who's been dealing with this issue. It hasn't been approved yet, so I don't know if that's what you spoke to. I didn't hear, actually, a lot of what you said. But it's still not done yet, so we're just waiting on for them. I understand DOT is without a commissioner, although no, Keith Calv is gone. He's been gone for, I understand, but he's no longer there, and they've been a little rudderless. But we will get you an answer as quickly as we possibly can.
Thank you. Patricia, apologies.
Yes.
Carry on.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I'd like to talk about the issue of a homeless tent that has been built, or I should say camp, that has been built on Edson Avenue and Bartow Avenue on the corner, on the left-hand side of the New England Thruway. I sent pictures to Kevin Rowley's office, and I want to know how can we address this and to prevent others from building their camp there at that site, and to remove the one that's there.
Patricia, what's the address again?
It's on the corner of Bartow and Edson Avenue, parallel to the gas station. It's actually on the side of the fence where the New England Thruway is. A person who can really put up a little house there.
Wait, what? Oh, by the
It's
bus
on
depot? Okay. All right. All right. I'll hi, I'm George. I will
Yes, hi,
I'll
George.
follow up with you. Well, not
Okay.
with you, but I'll follow up with Bronx Works, who handles outreach to homeless populations in the Bronx.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Moving on to Shantae.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Shantae Albright. I'm the library manager for the Wakefield Library, 4100 Lower Place. I just wanted to give a quick update with the library, what we have offered for the fall. Wakefield, Eastchester, and Edenwald Library will start NYPL after school starting Monday, October 2nd from 3 to 6. And basically is a free drop-in service for children from ages 6 to 12 and provide homework help and enrichment activities. And then also, I just want to promote Wakefield and Eastchester Library. We'll be having a library open house on October 25th. So it will provide like free programs, library card signups, free giveaways, and free resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Shantae. And we have Cynthia from Councilmember Riley's office who has a reply for Patricia.
Hi there, Ms. Patricia. So hi, everyone. My name is Cynthia from Councilmember Riley's office. So we are aware of this request, and we actually reached out to DHS. DHS, in conjunction with Bronx Works, did perform a site visit, and when the site visit happens, if the person is there, resources are provided directly to them. If they are not there at the moment, but the encampment is there, resources are left with them at the encampment on resources on where they can go to potentially seek services, like places like Part of the Solution, these single point of access sites where they can seek shelter within the system. If they do not choose that, then next steps are taken, potentially reaching out to them again, seeing what has changed, what might be the cause on why they aren't seeking shelter within the system, trying to address it that way, and then further steps come therefore from that.
Thank you, Cynthia. We're going to move on to Serimar Olivares.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm Sarah Marr. I'm from the Public Advocate's Office. I'm on the Policy and Legislation team. I just wanted to share.
I'm sorry, Serimar. We're still in the public speaking section. We're going to get to that shortly.
So sorry about that.
It's okay. Anyone else for public gallery, public speaking? Okay, so that concludes our section. Just want to remind everyone, once the public gallery session is closed, there will be no further comments from the public. You're welcome to ask questions via the chat tab. Thank you. We're going to move on now to the next part of the agenda, and that is a presentation from the Royal Hotel. He's not here? Do we have our representative, well, the representatives from the Royal Hotel virtually joining? No. Mr. Patel? Are you with the Royal Hotel? One of the presenters? I don't see him here anymore. Okay. All right, we're going to move on to the next section of our agenda, and that is the elected officials' representative reports. So, Serimar, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Apologies for earlier. As I was saying, I'm from the Public Advocate's Office. Just wanted to share some quick updates on what our office has been working on over the summer. So the Public Advocate, our office traveled to Washington, D.C. a couple of times to urge federal action and resources for the asylum seeker crisis that's currently ongoing. And the Public Advocate also toured the Roosevelt Hotel and other shelter sites with a few other elected officials. So we're going to continue keeping an eye on this and speaking with all levels of government to provide aid. We also, the Public Advocate also worked throughout the summer with community organizations on gun violence prevention, and we are heartened that the mayor announced a new blueprint to combat gun violence. So we are going to be doing a lot of legislation in the coming months around criminal justice and related issues. And one more important piece of legislation that our office was able to pass was legislation encouraging green city building projects across the city. So this law in particular will expand the kinds of buildings eligible for clean energy initiatives, Hopefully, we can bring that to NYCHA and other public housing around the city. I'm going to drop a few different links in the chat, just ways that you can reach out to our office and keep up with any current events. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for being here. We're going to move on to Alina with the mayor's office.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So nice to see you all. I see a lot of amazing faces that I know, and I see some new faces. For those that I don't know, welcome. I am Alina Dow. I am the Bronx Borough Director for the Mayor's Community Affairs. I do have a few announcements because I know I only have 3 minutes, so I don't want to talk too long. So the mayor and the sanitation commissioner have announced the next phase of the war on rats. All businesses must place their trash in containers. And I know that you guys are going to do a really good job that if you don't see the businesses placing their trash in containers, you're going to call 311 so that sanitation knows where they need to go to speak to the businesses. Getting 97 done, it's a comprehensive motorization strategy to reduce the building's emissions. This is in conjunction with the local law 97. If you guys are not familiar, what I'm going to do is I'll provide all of the links to the district managers, and they'll be able to put it on on the line. The mayor and DOT commissioners unveil an action plan with imaginary tools to curb the city space. And then Mayor Adams also, he has announced Text with Eric. It's a new initiative that he's using to communicate with him directly. Again, I'll provide the link so that you guys, if you want to sign up. I always tell everyone, there's a lot of good stuff that happens with the city, and I know often that you don't get to find out about those things. So the mayor is doing his very best to provide a direct connection to him, whether it's signing up for his newsletter, or now you'll be able to text him so that you can actually learn about some of the good stuff that happens that the mayor is doing with the city. And so the mayor also is working with, announced that with Governor Hochul, they launched the MTA subway surfing Ride Inside, Stay Alive public safety campaign. We're all aware and we've heard about all of the kids that have been riding on the subways on the outside, and then they're not making it. So they really do want to make this a priority, and it gives information to our kids so that they know that this is dangerous and you can die. And just because TikTok said it's cool does not mean that that's what's happening. And so anyone who's familiar with WBLS, you'll be able to hear from the mayor on WBLS. Again, I'll get all the times and I'll be able to share it with them so that you guys can listen and tune in to the good stuff that's happening. I know that there's a lot of things that are not happening that everyone could be so excited about. I live in the Bronx. I live not too far, so I know some of the quality of life issue things that are happening. I do want to say the mayor is aware of. I know we have a lot of issues with the trucks. He's when I say that this is something that he's continuing trying to figure out, it has a lot to do with city, state, and it's a law, right? So we know that it's easier for trucks to park on the street because it's cheaper than paying for hotels. So your local electeds, if you want to get to communicate with them and ask them, as the mayor is, to help sort of make these laws a little bit stricter, right? To sort of diffuse them from wanting to park on the street. Same thing with riding the bikes on the sidewalk. Right now, it's technically not against the law. And remember, the mayor does not write laws. He enforces the laws that are written. So I just want to encourage everyone to please continue to support your community by way of calling 311, continuing to come here. I do want to say one thing, and I said this at every community board meeting that I've been at so far. We have to do better with us, and I say us because I'm a part of the community. We have to decide, do we want the mayor to enforce law, or do we want him to let people break the law? We can't say that we want to have an illegal vendor selling fruit on the sidewalk, but then we don't want to have an illegal vendor selling weed at the corner. Nothing is different. They are the same. So we have to really make that decision. So I'm letting you know about that. And we also, one thing that I'm excited about is the mayor shared, and I'm only being long-winded because this is the first time I have seen you guys in person. Breaking Bread Building Bonds is an initiative that the mayor shared with us to get together with our neighbors. We have done it. It's really been powerful to get to meet people on a more intimate level, to really know what they're about. We might think that your neighbor is upset because there's trash on the curb. But guess what? If you get to know them, they might not care. So it's really important that we start to get to know each other better so that we really can build relationships in the community that will be sustainable. Thank you, guys. I'll provide my cards if anybody has anything to talk to me about.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you for being here. Latchman, I can't see what your first name is. Latchman with Councilmember Dinowitz's office. Are you here? Okay, we're going to go to our virtual. Any elected official representatives, please put your hands up so that I can see you're here. We're going to go with Edie Espaillat, and just say who you're with.
For sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Adili Espaillat, and I'm the Director of Constituent Services and Immigration Specialist for Congressman Jamal Bowman. I have dropped my contact information in the chat, and it's so nice seeing you all after this past summer. I would like to flag a couple of things. We, as everybody is aware, we are anticipating a federal government shutdown on Sunday, October 1st, but this won't stop us. Our office is gonna be continue open. Both offices are gonna be assisting constituents. I'm gonna be dropping our office information in the chat as well. Also, please keep updated. Our office is conducting mobile services throughout the entire district. We are gonna be updating our monthly information also in the Congressman website for the month of October. Additionally, our office is fully operational during this whole shutdown. And if you guys need assistance, sorry, I'm having a little bit technical difficulties. I'm gonna be dropping all that information in the chat.
Thank you. You can put it in the chat and we'll follow up. Do you have any others that you want to share? Okay. We're going to go with Cynthia from Councilmember Riley's office.
Can everyone hear me? Yes. All right, cool. So hi, everyone. It's nice to see many of you in person, and for those of you online, also hello. My name is Cynthia. I'm the Director of Constituent Services and the Legislative Coordinator for Councilmember Kevin Riley's office. We're getting better? Getting better. Okay, cool. So I know the council member was able to speak sometime earlier and address some of the questions. I did also want to give the community update on some upcoming events. So this Saturday, we're going to be partnering with the American Cancer Society and Bronx Fashion Week to host a fashion show and just in support of cancer initiatives raising awareness. That will be September 30th at 4 p.m. at the mall at Bay Plaza. We're also going to be partnering with the Mashalou Preservation Corporation to do a series of cleanups along White Plains Road, basically even going up past where our district line is, and just really trying to support keeping the space cleanly and just developing community. So the dates for that will be Saturday, October 14th, 2023 at 10 a.m. Meetup point is at the Gun Hill Road 2 train station at Marcus Garvey Square. And then the one for 223rd to 236, meetup will be at 222nd Street. That will be November 4th, 2023 at 10 a.m. There will be another one November 11th at 10 a.m. and that will be 237th Street to 242nd Street. Meetup is at 236th Street. Again, this is a collaboration, and it will not be the only collaboration that we do, and we really do intend to be able to support wherever possible. We fund a couple of community-based organizations that actually do neighborhood beautification themselves, and we do invite more to apply. So for example, we previously had been working with the Wildcat Corporation. They have since transitioned, and we are now working with Project ACE, and we are going to be working with CEO, the Center for Employment Opportunities. Many of these organizations actually provide services to those who have exited homelessness or have exited the justice system and need good, stable jobs, and for someone to give them a chance to succeed. Also going into some other community engagement updates, on October 18th, 6 p.m., in the 135 Einstein Loop Community Center in Co-op City. We're going to be doing a community engagement session on the Metro North project and all the changes that may come with it, and also to allow you to give your input. That is again Wednesday, October 18th, 135 Einstein Loop, Bronx, New York 10475. And then actually every Friday, barring the weather or any exigent conditions, we host a community pantry with the Unity with Love warehouse. That is 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. every Friday, 3369 Wilson Avenue. Any questions, comments, concerns? Anyone got anything for me? Cool beans. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. We're moving on to Ronell.
Hi, my name is Ronell from State Senator Jamal T. Bailey's office. So if you have any constituent concerns, you could contact our office at 959 East 233rd Street. That's between Gunther and Edenwald Avenue, close to the Carvel Ice Cream. So we have an upcoming event that is our 5th annual senior walk. That is in Co-op City, Friday, October 6th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The exact location is the Co-op City Section 5 Greenway. That's 120 Erskine Place. If you would like to partake, you can call our office at 718-547-8854. Thank you.
Thank you, Ronell. Patrice?
Hi, my name is Ferdrice Latchman. Hi, my name is Ferdrice Latchman. Good evening. I'm here representing Councilmember Eric Dinowitz's office for District 11. I'm here just to give some brief updates about things that are going on that are pertinent to the community. So I'm just going to jump right into it and let you know some things that are going on that are current events. So district office updates and events. Flood barriers, we have 6 and 12 foot for your home, building, garage, etc. Any kind of building like that, any kind of structure. You can come to the office to pick them up if you'd like. The office is at 277 West 231st Street. So closer towards the Riverdale area. It's accessible by the 1 train. You can also take the 1 bus if you're anywhere near Fordham Road, or if you can connect. Let's see, we also have the Wakefield Library office hours. We're there today, well, we were earlier today. We're there every last Thursday of the month, so you can stop by and talk to any one of the constituent advocates like myself. I love people, happy to talk to you about anything that's on your mind. We also have Julio, we have Crystal, so we'll be interchangeably there at the library to answer questions, or if you just want to stop by and say hi, that's fine too. We will be sprucing up the Wakefield Triangle with our funding for the that we received from the Horticultural Society of New York. So we're going to clean up and do some new plantings, and that's going to take place in the future, the near future. You can direct your questions to us if you want to ask about a specific date, or we'll just let you know when one becomes available. Let's see, Woodlawn Family Fun Day was canceled because of the rain, but we're going to plan a new date, so you can keep your eyes peeled for that. We're going to send that out. Or if you just want to know, you can always come to the website and check it out. Legislative updates, last but not least. At the last stated meeting, Councilmember Dinowitz and his co-prime sponsor, Councilmember Riley, introduced Intro 1167-2023. If you want to look that up on the New York City Council website, you're more than welcome to do that, but I'm going to tell you about it. It would require the Commissioner of Emergency Management, in consultation with the Office of the Mayor and community boards, to identify and designate facilities within each community district to serve as rapid emergency response centers, which is very important. After some devastating fires in Wakefield and the Bronx, this is going to go a long way in supporting victims of disasters by having resources readily available to them when we need them. And so I'm just going to quickly go over what Intro 1167-2023 is. So the bill will require the Commissioner of Emergency Management, as stated, to work in consultation with the Office of the Mayor and community boards to identify and designate facilities within each community district to serve as rapid response emergency centers. Each center would be required to stock supplies for residents that have been displaced by a natural human-caused disaster. This bill would also require the Commissioner of Emergency Management, in consultation with the Commissioner of Citywide Admin Services, to submit an annual report to the Mayor and the Speaker regarding the inventory of supplies in each community district's Rapid Emergency Response Center. And that is it for my updates. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. We're going to move on to Donella.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Danella Smith. I'm a constituent liaison in Assemblyman Jeffrey Dinowitz's office. Unfortunately, the Assembly member could not be here tonight, but he does send everyone his well wishes and hellos. Not too much in terms of announcement. Our office is hosting 2 shred events in October 22nd and 29th. I will provide more information on that in the chat, and I hope everyone has had a great summer. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Next, we have Rye Shield.
Hi, good evening. My name is Rochelle. I am one of the constituent service liaison for of Congressman Richie Torres. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, yes. So some of the announcements that I have from last month, on August 17, Congressman Torres and community leaders announced a new $10 billion loan program to support Bronx businesses. On August 24th, Congressman Torres announced a new legislation which is aiming to protect the rights of seniors to access traditional Medicare coverage. One of the events which we had last month as well on August 30th was where Congressman Richie Torres honored Dr. Clarence B. Jones for his contribution to the March on Washington and the Civil Rights Movement. We held this event at Manhattan College in Riverdale, where we presented Dr. Jones with a congressional record for his contribution to our society. And he was also presented with the first award to the director of the Holocaust at Manhattan College.
Joe, please mute yourself.
Earlier this month, Congressman Richie Torres held a press conference against the Cricket Stadium along with...
I'm sorry, Rochelle. Joe, can you please mute yourself? Joe, we can hear you.
People are talking. And I couldn't get my picture on there.
Joe,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Wait a minute.
Apologies, you can continue, Rochelle.
Yes. Thank you. So we also held a press conference earlier this month, September 1st, against the Cricket Stadium with Assembly Member Dinowitz and Council Member Eric Dinowitz. And like it was another announcement that was previously mentioned, more than likely we are entering a shutdown next week. We are still going to be working with any federal services such as USCIS, IRS, SSA, USPS, any federal agencies. I'm going to be including my contact information along with our office phone numbers if anyone has any other questions or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Kiara? Kiara? Alexis? Anyone from the Borough President's office? Going once, going twice. Any other elected official representatives? Before we close this part of the agenda? Okay. We're gonna move, Arpit Patel, is anyone here with the Royal Hotel? Any representatives?
Yes, I'm here.
The floor is yours.
Yes, I'm from Royal Hotel, which is located right on Boston Road.
Are you able to turn your camera on?
I'm sorry, I was in the hospital. I'm just sitting in my car. So unfortunately, just if you can give me for a few seconds, I'll definitely be. I'm here just to represent Royal Hotel. We were just trying to anticipate our hotel in the asylum seeker program. But unfortunately, I think DHS is turning us down, saying that community board is opposing that. So I was just requesting community board that if there is any other question or concerns that you guys have, I'll be more than happy to address it. So that's the only thing. Whatever community boards gives me an advice, I'll definitely.
Mr. Patel, it's kind of difficult to decipher what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm.
We were hoping you would be here in person. That was our expectation.
I'm so sorry for that. I just had an emergency, so I just have to leave. I really apologize for that. But that was I sent the presentation to Mr. Torres as well, what I was expecting from the community board. Uh, and as I explained, I was just trying to anticipate our hotel in asylum seeker, the program, and that's why I was just asking for community feedback if they are voting in my favor, opposing opposing that move. Whatever is community's agenda, I'll respect that.
Okay, just so that our board members know, Mr. Ari Patel is here representing the Royal Hotel, and they are seeking a no objection letter. So this is our opportunity to ask questions. I'll start. I have one, Mr. Patel.
Yeah.
You know, the hotel is for the asylum seekers, not for the residents within this community. And my question is, how much are you profiting from this hotel that doesn't benefit the residents of this community?
I'm profiting. I mean, the dollar amount is concerned. We just opened, so we doesn't have any agenda as of now. And to discuss the dollar would be inappropriate at this point, I guess.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that. You don't have a sum? Do you have a daily amount per person? Just to give us an idea of what the profit is, that I think that's helpful for us to know. And again, this is not to benefit residents from this community. So that's the first part. How much are you profiting? And what are you giving back to the community, the residents that do live here and have been here?
Okay, as far as profiting part is concerned, I just have to go through my accountant and a lot of stuff. I don't have anything in my head as of now. But definitely I'll get back to Mr. Torres on that.
Okay, so you're saying you don't have information to share with us, but you're saying you will get it back to us?
Yes, I'll try to share with Mr.
When
Torres.
can you get us that information?
I'll get in touch with my accountants and stuff, and I'll get back to you.
Okay, so like this week, early next week?
Hopefully in a week or two.
I'm sorry?
Hopefully in a week or two.
Okay, we're gonna go to Deborah. You had your hand up?
Okay, where is this located?
Boston Road, across the street from St. Philip's and James School. It's a big, tall, blue and orange
Blue
building.
and gold.
Okay.
Can't miss so I have a question, another question. How many migrant shelters should we have in our community? There's already one on Gun Hill Road and Boston Road. That was the motel. I forget the name of it. There's one on 212 and between 212 and 213th in Laconia. That was supposed to be a 20-unit apartment building. That's a migrant shelter. So how many comes into our community?
216th and White Plains Road, El Rancho.
We've been trying to get that information.
There's another one on 216th and White Plains Road. El Rancho Motel is also a migrant shelter.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Unfortunately, we're not getting clear answers as to exactly how many. George has been trying to get us that information for quite some time now. And so, do you want to say something?
So I have another, I'm sorry, can I state one more thing? My question is, since the migrants are here, how are they tracked? Like, who are they? Like, the government gets to know who I am by my Social Security and who I am and how much taxes I pay. Who are these people in our community? They're walking around. I'm just saying, how do we get to know who they are? Is anyone keeping the track of them?
I thought this would be the correct way to do this. Mr. Patel will have the answers in a couple of weeks. I think it would be in our best interest to have a housing committee meeting, and Mr. Patel could come, and we can cross-check this situation and ask questions. I would like to be face-to-face with Mr. Patel in the best interest of this community board. And I also would like everyone to come to this housing committee, I have a new esteemed vice chair, and I really look forward to contacting Mr. Patel, because we're not going to get anywhere, and I know everybody here has questions for him. So let's do it that way. I have Victor Brown. Okay, we can have a housing committee meeting right here, and everyone could come, and Mr. Patel could bring his answers, and we'll have a democratic discussion.
Can you invite him to come in person?
Yes, and Mr. Patel can come in person, and I'll chair it. All right, thank you.
Sure. I mean, it seems like everyone is upset, and I don't mean to object any one of you guys. It's okay if you guys are not in favor of giving it to community shelter. I don't want to oppose community board. I always respect the community that I work in, and I'll keep my hotel for the local community use. Whoever guest can come and visit us, book our hotel and stay there. That's fine. I'm not here to, I was just looking for your opinion, and pretty much I have an idea that you guys are not in favor of it, and I respect that. I truly respect from bottom of my heart.
I have a question. Can I ask something?
Yes, sure.
Kartika, 1 second, because we have an order of people that are here present, and we will move to our virtual board members right after.
Oh, because it seemed like you were trying to push this to go to the housing committee.
We are. So
okay, so we wouldn't be able to ask questions right now to Mr. Patel.
You can, but right now what we're saying is we have an order of those that are here in person first, and then we will go to our virtual board members. Thank you.
It probably does.
Robert Link.
I just went back on to the meeting.
Hi, Mr. Patel, Robert Link. If you can give me an idea of what the current situation is at the hotel. My understanding is it's already a shelter for asylum seekers.
No, it is not. We are operating as a regular hotel right now. And we are looking, that's why I'm here, just to get an idea from you guys. So that's why I'm here.
I'm referring to an article that was in the paper yesterday. It's City Limits. That was published yesterday, and it specifically says that there are, I think, 30-something families in the house on a 28 in the hotel on a 28-day, voucher status. Is that not correct?
Honestly, it's my partner who's managing it, so I have no idea. But from my perspective, it is not 100% shelter yet. But I'll definitely get back to you with that question.
How many kids are living in that hotel right now?
Kids, I don't know. Honestly, I have no track of it. It's my partner who's managing. I'm just here to seek your help.
Do you know if those kids are getting fed every day?
You're too specific with the questions, and I have no answer.
What do you know?
Do you know if those kids have seats in a school that they can go to?
I'm sorry, boss.
Is there a parking lot or a green space in the area? I don't believe there is. So if the kids want to play, they're going to play on the corner of Gun Hill Road and Boston Road?
I'm sorry. I'll get back to Mr. Torres with all of the questions and answers, because I don't have 100% answers, but I got an idea. I'm not willing to move forward as per you guys suggested. So
Alfredo?
I'll communicate with Mr. Torres, and we'll communicate further.
Luke? Great. Luke?
So one thing I should just let everybody know, that the contracts that the city has with shelter providers are all posted publicly on this website called Passport. So you can search usually by the address or the LLC of whatever shelter provider. You know, it's really challenging to have this conversation. I don't know if many people are familiar with the asylum seeker program that the country has, but it's something that we have international agreements with other countries to accept people who have been persecuted for political reasons, for reasons of religion and race. And, you know, I know this is probably not something that everybody wants to hear, but we're a nation of immigrants. We are a city of immigrants. And I think it's easy to have this conversation picking on asylum seekers, which isn't necessarily something that we're doing, but it's something that if I was an asylum seeker coming to the United States right now, I'd be really, really having a difficult time. You know, this is a mess. And I understand that we are concerned about what effect this has on the residents of the community, but we've got to face it. These people who have come here are new residents in the community. They are a part of our community board. We can't talk about them like they're other people. Oh, the scary asylum seekers who are fleeing religious persecution from other countries. That's not okay. You know, we used to start these community board meetings with a prayer. And I don't know about you, but there's a lot of aspects to that talk about opening our doors to people who are unhoused, to people who are fleeing these types of crises. So I think it's personally, I don't feel like this conversation is the most productive because it inflames so much rhetoric. Like, I feel very passionate right now, but it doesn't necessarily accomplish anything because our political system at every single stage is so messed up that it's failing everybody.
Thank you, Luke. All right, we're moving on to Darren.
Beatrice, can I speak? Can I add on to what Luke said?
1 second, yes.
Mr. Patel, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that the board has a lot of questions for you, and obviously you didn't have time to prepare for those questions. What do you have to present to the board? Because I haven't heard you present anything. So what are you presenting to the board for our consideration?
Mm-hmm. Just that I was looking for the no objection letter from the community board. That
So
if
I
it's
understand
okay.
what you're looking for, but what information are you providing us besides that you are looking for our support? Because you haven't provided us any information. What are you looking for?
I mean, okay, so I was just concerned. I mean, I was under assumption that I spoke to Mr. I think Riley, congressman, and the way I understood it is they don't want me to give it to turn it as a homeless shelter, and I agree to that. And I was just trying to help the city and mayor to handle this asylum seeker program. And that's why I was just looking for that letter. And if it's, I mean, that's what I was looking from the community board. I mean, basically that's what it is. I mean, the way I was asked question, I got a little nervous. And as I said, I was outside the hospital with my daughter. So I'm sorry for that trouble as well. So that's the basic thing I was looking for, but it's okay. Now I understood.
Great. Kartika?
Yeah, so I ditto everything Luke said, completely 100% agree. And also, I think Mr. Patel has the impression that we have already made a decision, and that's not the case. There is no decision that has been made just yet because we still have a couple of questions about the information that you need to provide for us. Like on my end, I think that I completely agree with what Luke said, and you know, we shouldn't be perpetrating this like rhetoric of asylum seekers just because, you know, because of things that we've been told. Like, I've worked with asylum seekers, and yes, they are tracked because once they cross the border, they have a card. They literally have this document that says their USCIS number, and they have a court date that they have to go to. And yes, like, you know, they become part of our community. You know, we come from a history of immigrants. We are immigrants. So at the end of the day, we have to be here for each other as a community. And if that's not the sense that the message that we're trying to elevate, then what are we doing here as a community board? So
thank you, Kartika. Just a reminder to everyone that we will be moving this conversation to the Housing Committee where everyone can extensively share, ask questions, and so let's keep that in mind. Damon.
Beatrice, I want to ask you first, now that my camera is on, attendance is going to show that I'm here today.
Thank you for that.
Before I ask, okay, thank you.
Damon.
So now,
just to
Mr. Patel,
remind everybody that board members are expected to be here in person and on camera.
Yeah, I've never received that, and those are like messages that I've been sending you personally.
Okay, we'll
But,
make
like,
sure that you're on the list. Thank you, Damon.
Yeah, thank you for that. But I have another thing that I want to say to Mr. Patel. I would echo the sentiments as well, Mr. Patel, that don't give up. Because at first, for me, it was against it. Especially what's going on with Staten Island. I don't want people picketing on Boston Road in front of the hotel because there's a school across the street from your hotel. I read your proposal, and I just think that you need to come prepared to answer questions.
Surely I will. And
Everybody,
see, community members, the only reason I came across is I feel that all the hotels in District 12, our community, got a chance to help the city and the mayor, to give their hotel for the silent. So that's why
I could ask you
came across
some of my
and I asked
questions.
you.
Some of my
Sure,
questions
sure.
that I would want you to answer is this: one, what is your security for the neighborhood, being that it is across the street from a school? So I would want to know that. Another thing that I would want to know is that being that you have a hotel, I don't think that they have kitchens and stuff where people can cook and stuff. So what are you anticipating for the people that come into there to sustain themselves? Those are questions that I have. Those are just two. I have an abundance of questions after reading your proposal, but those are just two of them.
Let me just answer you that. So as far as security is concerned, like let's say if the DHS takes my place for their health, for their migrant purposes, DHS put their own security, so that they have their own security and everything, which unfortunately or fortunately we cannot provide due to a lot of regulations. So that's why wherever in the city DHS is taking the hotels or whatever they are turning the shelters into, they provide their own security. And number two, when the food is concerned, DHS bring their own meal to give it to the asylum seekers or the clients, and that's how they address all that concerns. So that's hopefully I have answered that question.
Okay,
that you asked
I'm sorry. I'm
specifically
gonna just end it here because we aren't getting anywhere. We are inviting you back to our housing committee where we do expect you to be in person and answer the questions. Thank you so much.
Sure. Nope.
Deborah and then Ariel.
Thank you guys for listening to me.
Okay, Deborah and Ariel, quickly because we do need to move on.
So my comment is this: I understand that we want to take this matter to the housing committee. However, I feel like there are some questions, some concerns that have nothing to do with the housing committee. There's some things that we need to know from city agencies. There's other information that will impact any conversation that will take place in the housing committee. So what will we do to try to get that information to the board so that we can make informed decisions? And secondly, I agree with Luke in terms of the tenor or just the way it feels, this whole conversation around what's going on. I think that we have to be more thoughtful in our words and our actions when we're talking about people that are currently, they are a part of this community.
Yes, but Deborah, we're not talking about the people. We're talking about the presenter that has no questions, no answers for us, and so that's where we're frustrated.
The way it comes across is such. We may not, that may not be the intention, but the way it comes across is such.
Thank you for sharing that. Mr. Hall, quickly.
Yeah, I just would like to say as the housing chair that we will develop our own tenor with regards to any issue that's created. All right? This idea is a composite of all of our thoughts collectively. I heard everything that said. Luke, you're right on point. We have to come up with our own diversification as far as this entire situation is concerned. And that's all, that's why it's gonna come to a committee. And also, I would like the gentleman to be prepared. He needs a couple of weeks, so it kind of fits. But we can lower the hostility, and we can learn from this, all right? We're all gonna start from ground zero, and we're gonna move our way up. You know, and this is an opportunity for everyone to come to the Housing Committee, and we're gonna share our ideas collectively. So I'm in agreement with every one of you in this room. So let's do this together. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you. Ariel?
Hello. I just want to say that I believe when Mr. Patel began his speaking that he said that Community Board 12 was opposed to having it turn into a asylum seeker, and he was asking what issues we have in opposition. And I think this was the opportunity to give him those questions. That way, when he comes back to housing, he has an opportunity to answer everything. I also agree with other board members that it is probably gonna be with other agency and associations. Also, along with your point of what the profit is, there are hotels that I have seen that has been building in the Bronx. Now, I don't think they're making that much profit because of probably location, maybe COVID-19, but I think that everybody has to understand when these motels and hotels are not making it, they may not transition into residential housing. Because they were not set up as residential housing, they may turn into asylum seekers, shelters. So those are going to be possibilities that's going to be in the neighborhood. Another thing is, did we have a park for like where they're gonna be and where they're gonna stay? I'm very familiar with the Boston Road area. I used to grow up there. There are parks that are in location for people to go to. I understand that people have other issues when it comes to that we have to make a list for him. So I think that it will be very beneficial if we make that list for him and give it to him. That way, when he comes in a week or two, will be very well prepared to answer some of these questions. That way, if we have to go to the association, then we're gonna go to the association to ask additional questions about feeding, about how many people are gonna be there. Because at the end of the day, the Bronx and New York City is very multicultural, and this is what we come from. So at the end of the day, it's about how we're gonna do it, because it's gonna be done regardless. It's just about how we're gonna do it and how are we gonna be based as a community to help other community members. And I believe that was just my last thing. I don't know what year, Mr. Patel, that you opened up this hotel.
Ariel, I just wanna answer
Okay.
something. We didn't oppose anything. This is the first time he was coming to present to us. So that in itself is an erroneous comment. Have either of you voted on it? We haven't even voted on it. So we haven't opposed something that we're just finding out about. So his intent today was to get a letter of support. We don't even have information to make an actual decision, right? Informed decision. And so he does have to come back and present. We will invite city agencies to be part of it as well. We're not opposing it. We're just asking how is this going to benefit the current residents that are here that do also need housing, right? And so
I agree with you.
So those are things that
I'm not going against.
One second, Ariel. Those are things that we do need to keep in mind, and so we all need to be very cautious of what we're saying, what we're presenting, information is coming in, and so that we can all make a collective informed decision. But this is the first time he came. He's not giving us any real information. The next step is to bring it to a committee so that we can all ask, and even other residents of the community can come in and participate. I know Patricia had her hands up. The committees where we can have an extensive conversation about that.
I understand. I wasn't being against the board itself. I was just saying that when he comes back and he can give us these answers that way, that we are all able to at least have something. I'm not saying that this was presented. I know this is new. Also, I understand that he should have been here in person. I was just saying going forward, and I'm not in opposition of my members. I want to be a part of my membership, so I'm just stating just a few things that we haven't said yet. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, that's it? Okay, we're closing this part of the conversation. Thank you all. Again, welcoming you to please participate at that committee. We need your voices. Come with your questions. We can prepare questions and send it to him beforehand so that he's prepared. Okay, we're moving on to a roll call.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to do a roll call. I'll be doing this for the next few months until I get familiar with all of you and you get familiar with me, okay? So, Judith Benitez, present. Carla Basardi. Patricia Boswell. And if you can speak up a little bit louder, my board members, I appreciate it, because the fact that we're recording it, but we're here in person in some cases. Michelle Bromsfield, Victor Brown, Deacon Edward Brown. He's online? He's not here? No. Okay, thank you. Desiree Campbell is excused. Sadie Campbell is on virtual, I believe. Am I correct? Is she on virtual? Sadie Campbell's on virtual. Joan Claude, is she on virtual?
Yes, present.
In virtual, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Joan.
You're welcome.
Beatrice Coronel, we know is here. Atonia Davis. Hi, Atonia. Chris Devone. Hi, Chris. How you doing? Charlene Dickinson, I know, is on virtual. Yes. Denise Echeverria. Hi. Alfredo Figueroa, I know, is here. Katika Fuentes. You're on virtual, am I correct?
Yeah.
Thank you. Johnny Goff is excused. Darren Grant. Thank you. Sheila Grierson. Hi. Sandra Gross, I know I heard.
Here.
Where's Sandra?
Right here.
Hi, yeah, okay. Robert Hall, I know, is here.
Yeah.
Carrie Ann Henry. Is she here or is she on virtual? Does anyone know? Carrie Ann.
Oh, Carrie Ann Henry.
Thank you. John Isaac, I know, is here. James Theodore. Keisha Martin. Hi, Keisha. Robert Link.
Here.
Oh, okay. Javed Malik. Hi. Okay, I cannot pronounce his first name, but I'll say his last name, Mark, and I'll get the pronunciation later. Right here. Hi, I'll get the pronunciation later. Thank you. Lucille Martin. I didn't see her either.
I'm present virtually.
Virtually? Thanks, Lucille.
But Lucille, you're not on camera. Your attendance counts if you're on camera.
Lucille, did you hear what?
Lucille, in order for your attendance to count, you have to be on camera. Reminder.
Understood. I'm parking outside. I'll be in 2 seconds.
Are you coming into the building? Okay. So
I'm parking right outside.
Okay, so I'll take you over virtual.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Clinton Mike, I know, is here. Carmen Ortiz, I saw on virtual.
She's here.
Yeah, here.
Okay, Wayne Palmer. Wayne, hi, Wayne. Queenie Paniagua.
She's excused. She's excused.
She's excused. Reginald Paris. Hi, Reginald. Okay. Ariel Peters. Hi, Ariel. Anthony Reed is here. Sherry Samuels. Hi. Okay. Carl Sticker is excused. Benga Sabir is here, I believe. Hi, Benga. Luke Zavados is here. Deborah Torado. Here. Hi, Deborah. And Damon Toutine. Damon
Yes, I'm here, but I have issues.
Okay, we got them. Okay, we got you. We got
No,
you.
you don't have them because I haven't expressed it.
Excuse me, is this entrance open? This entrance is door open?
Okay, Deborah Walker. Hi, Deborah.
I love your trench coat.
Ryan Walters.
It's the season.
The conversations are virtual. Could you please mute yourselves until I finish the roll call? Thank you. Ryan Walters. Ryan Walters.
He's not here.
Esther Yema. Esther. Okay. Thank you all for your cooperation.
Okay, so we do have a few new board members that trickled in after we did our presentations. So we will start with our virtuals. Who didn't get a chance to present? Damon, are you the only one?
Didn't trickle in. I've been here from the very beginning.
Damon, you have the floor.
Yeah, so I didn't trickle in. I just don't understand. Like, I've sent emails and I'm not getting any responses. And I want to be an active member of this board. So I would like to receive messages back.
Damon, how did you send your form of communication and to who?
I received an email from, I believe it was George, that said that he wanted to meet with me one-on-one to inform me of everything that I needed to do. And I needed to send him my availability. And I've done that, and I have not received anything back. So I'm a little annoyed right now, and excuse me for being passionate, but I could have been there in person because I think like in being virtual, getting my say.
Damon, can you take this time to introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Damon Toutine. I've been a resident of this community board for 35 years, maybe even more. I am a financial, I'm a business analyst, realm of pensions and medical and life insurance and annuities. A lot of things that I want to say from the people that live in my neighborhood, and that's why I started coming to the community boards and voicing my opinions, and that's why I applied to be a part of the board. And now that I'm a part of the board, I don't feel like I'm getting communications. I'm getting emails on different things that's going on, but as far as attending, receiving any of that, and I would like to receive that.
Okay, Damon, thank you. We're gonna make sure that you're receiving. Can you just, we're gonna make sure George and Ursula
I receive
reach out to
emails
you.
from Ursula. I received emails from you, Beatrice, and I received, Beatrice, you and I communicated because I said that I wanted to be on the public safety board.
Yes, and you're on it.
Yeah. So as far as like, I could have been
Damon,
there in person
can we
today.
move on? I'm sorry. We're gonna talk about this and we're gonna rectify
And one
that.
thing that I don't like, and I don't know if this is what I got to get used to.
Damon,
but I
we're gonna
see, like,
talk
you
offline.
You cut off
Thank
a lot
you.
of things that needs to be.
Okay. We're gonna move on to the district manager's report.
Good evening, everyone. So for the sake of time, it's now 9 o'clock. I'm not going to read this. Did everybody get my report? Did you read the report? All right, so we can talk about that if you guys have any sort of feelings about it. The only thing that I will talk and address is the issue with the homeless shelters. This is not, or the migrant shelters. This is not a new thing. I've been talking about this for well over a year. I will say two things. One, Mr. Patel is the only person that has come before us, so we shouldn't beat him up over that. But I can understand that this is an issue that people take a lot of passion in, because I've been here for 8 years. I became the district manager in August of 2015, and we had 4 shelters. We had 4 homeless shelters. This is before the migrant crisis. We lost 2 shelters, so we only had 2. I got cancer in January of this year, 2023. That was what, 9 months ago. And in that time, that very short period of time, we got hit with 8 shelters, 4 of which were migrant shelters. Eric Dinowitz is coming through this door, and I'm gonna say, I said this to him, he didn't respond, and I'm gonna say it to him, and I'm saying it to all of you now. We took 10 shelters, several of them were migrant shelters. Eric Dinowitz has 12 shelters in what he represents. He represents Community Board 12, he represents Community Board 7, he represents Community Board 6, Community Board 8, Riverdale. Riverdale, I think, took 2 shelters. Community Board 7 took 3. Wakefield and Woodlawn are the only 2 areas that he represents in Community Board 12. 2 very small communities in comparison to the rest of this district. Kevin Riley has the largest percentage of Community Board 12. 50% of his 12 shelters are in Wakefield, the only black part of his district. And I only say that to highlight what's going on. I created a chart back in 2019, and we've been meeting with DHS through budget consultations. And in that chart, I'm sorry, it's on my desk right now, I listed, because back in 2019, the city launched what's called Turning the Tide. And when they released Turning the Tide, they used to have a map. And the map showed you what each community board had. The councilman just walked in, so come on in. You're coming into a very testy thing. We'll give you the floor. It's all right. You didn't do anything. That's the problem. So in 2019, the city used to have a map of all the community boards and the shelters. So back in 2019, several community boards got together. We had it at Community Board 11. We had it with the then chair there, and we spoke about crafting a plan so that we could deal with this. Now, this is well before the migrant crisis. We didn't anticipate the migrant crisis. We could barely deal with our own homeless population. Now that seems like an afterthought, because we're only addressing the migrant crisis now. So I say all that to say that we have to be conscious about what our district is going to look like, because again, we went from 2 as far back as 2020, and the councilman, he wasn't the councilman then, but his father, the assemblyman, we had a COVID shelter that opened up at 4747 Bronx Boulevard, and many of you remember that fight. And they marched, and they fought, and the community fought, and we were successful with the help of our elected officials. And they said, oh, this is only temporary, we're going to close it once COVID is open. Well, guess what? It's not closed. They closed it for a very brief period of time, and then it was reopened. Now, I will make the distinction. We can talk about this shelter and where it's at right now because it is not occupied. But once a shelter is occupied, we have to be very careful about disclosure. We are not allowed to sort of share. I have a list of all the shelters in my district. So I think we shared the list. I'm not sure if we haven't. But I am leery of sharing the list, and I will be very frank with you, because I've shared lists. I share everything with board members, and those lists have gone out to the greater community. And that's not something that I want. I take my role as a city employee very seriously. I take my role as your district manager very seriously. So those are all things that we should be considerate of. So I will get you to wrap this up and put a bow on it. Ariel and Beatrice brought up, maybe you should, in advance, send me all your questions so that we can send it to Mr. Patel, so he'll have an opportunity to address those issues at our housing committee. And if you feel like several agencies should come, we will get you those answers. I think that's it. But I don't want to say all this and gloss over. To me, this is very important. I want you to consider this because it's 9 o'clock, it's 9:08. We're probably going to be here for another half hour, 45 minutes, because we still have votes to take, and the councilman is going to speak. So, I'm trying to be thoughtful of your time, and that's why I put this together. But it's going to inflict pain. The final thing that I'll say, again, I promise is the last thing. We have board members that are participating virtually. Some of those people chair committees. You can't chair a committee virtually. We were able to do that, but we're in person now. You have to be on camera for your attendance to be taken. And we have rules regarding our attendance. So please take that into consideration, because there are a lot of board members that have missed the requisite three meeting requirement, and they should be voted off, regardless of how we feel about individual board members, because you're here in person. But there was a time several years ago that we were not making quorum, and we could never take votes because we had too many people on the board and we weren't voting them off. So again, that's why I say this is my response to that, and this is my response to taking your time seriously. And with that, I always say, today marks my 2,979th day as your district manager, or 8 years, 1 month, and 26th day of my tenure here. I am grateful for each and every day at the board. Thank you for your patience, and good night.
Welcome back, George. Okay, the floor is yours, council member. Thank you for being here. We appreciate your participation in person.
Of course, although I couldn't help but walk into a little comment that I honestly didn't appreciate. I think the conversation was about shelters. I'm really happy to be here. I think, as everyone here knows, back when you were virtual, I was at, I think, almost every meeting myself. Certainly now in person, it's going to be a little more challenging. I had 3 other events tonight, but it was... I didn't know I got a soundtrack when I was speaking. That's pretty cool. And I'm going to make my best effort, as you can see, here in person. And when I'm not here, I have staff member Fredrice, if you want to raise your hand. I don't know if she spoke. She probably spoke very well. Only been on the job about a week, and she's already kicking a lot of, doing a lot of good work. I was going to say something violent, kicking butt. No, she's doing a lot of good work. I do want to address the shelters. I'm a little surprised to hear a negative comment. There's never been a time when someone from this board has reached out about concerns about shelter, and I haven't been immediately responsive. In fact, it was this community board, Wakefield, that 4747 Bronx Boulevard, that opened one of the earliest migrant shelters. And I was extremely hands-on to make sure that the students, the children, the families at that shelter and the school, PS16, got what they needed. Because I know that when the shelters and our children and the schools are supported, that impacts all of you positively. When the families got to that shelter, they didn't even have a printer. And they were going to the school, and the school was printing out all the documents for them. So I brought together, along with my colleagues, Councilmember Riley, Senator Bailey, Assemblyman Dinowitz, Borough President Gibson, got together the Department of Education and the Department of Homeless Services and got those families the support they needed. We got PS16 extra money. We got those students an extra bus stop. We did the work, the hands-on work, to make sure that the community was supported, because again, when the families in the shelter are supported, that means you all aren't doing the work and feeling the burden that so many of us across the city are facing. Now, there is no doubt that Wakefield has been inundated with shelters before the migrant crisis and now, and that is simply unfair. And don't think for a second it's not something I have brought up day in and day out with the Department of Social Services. And don't think that when I got into office, one of my first things was to reach out to the Department of Social Services, because George is right, they did not close immediately that temporary shelter, and we sought clarification on all those things. What's critical for everyone here to understand is I care deeply about Wakefield, and I'll go over some of the things I'm doing in Wakefield along with my partners in government, but it is critical that all of you reach out to me and my office. You're welcome to come by anytime. And in fact, we're starting office hours. My district is extending to a little farther south into Wakefield with the redistricting. And we're going to be having monthly office hours at the Wakefield Library. And so all of you can come by and see me or my staff member. I'm setting up monthly check-ins with the district manager and the chair, and any of the chairs of committees are welcome to come by as well. And monthly check-ins, nothing official, just to hear how things are going and how I can be helpful. You know, there was a fire here a few months back. I think it was in January. A terrible fire where a number of families were displaced. I was at the scene with Councilmember Riley, with Senator Bailey, and with Borough President Gibson. You may remember this. And so we were there into the night, helping the families as best we could. And one of the things we noticed was there were families who didn't have access to their belongings, to their clothing, because they couldn't access their apartment. Makes sense. It's not safe. There was a fire in the building. And what ended up happening was that we got them clothes because the school happened to have clothes in the building, because some of the elected officials happened to have clothing in our offices. It was very lucky that those people were able to get to school the next day, get to work the next day with clothing. But I don't believe that government should work based on luck. And it was that fire in Wakefield and attending to the needs of Wakefield where I introduced legislation along with Councilmember Riley, which would require every community board district somewhere in the district to have rapid response centers where there would be clothing, where people could go and pick up clothing and toiletries and things that they can get on with their life for the next day. And so we are working to deal with those crises. And of course, fires in the city council, we're trying to deal with those with the e-bike batteries, with legislation. I had the pleasure of going to PS16 on one of the first days of school and seeing the kids with those big smiles on their faces after their first day of school. And one of the things that the principal told me was that there's this park space that really no one has real access to, that the school has plans for, but they're not sure if it's park space, they're not sure if it's DOE space. So right now I am working with the Parks Department and the Department of Education to see about opening up that space adjacent to the school to redo it and allow for kids to have more outdoor play space. And I will certainly keep everyone here updated, but this is coming on the heels of them just redoing the lower deck playground, if you're familiar, on Carpenter. So I'm very excited at the prospect of the school having more space for their children to play. That's something we're trying to take care of. We've gotten a lot of complaints about Webster Avenue. We have worked with citywide command to tow a number of the vehicles, to issue summonses to the illegal car washes. We've been successful in towing them. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you would have seen the pictures. And I'll tell you right now, ericdinowitz.nyc, you can do it on your phones right now, ericdinowitz.nyc/ you guessed it, newsletter, for my newsletter. Thank you. ericdinowitz.nyc/newsletter. And so we've been updating the community on that. We've, again, done a number of tows. We've gotten Citywide Command to do that. Unfortunately, it's a persistent problem. I am going to keep on Citywide Command, keep requesting them to come out and do the tows. Hopefully, after enough time, they'll stop coming back, and you won't need to come to my office and complain to me about that. And as always, my office door is open. You're welcome to come by anytime, whether it's for an issue or just to come by and say hello. I love seeing people from the community. And again, once we have the office hours at the Wakefield Library, would love to see you come by at those. And with that, I'll make one other announcement, which is that we do monthly food distributions at the church down the block from here, Deliverance Ministries Church. Once a month, food distributions with our partners, Common Pantry. I think it's only for older adults. So if you qualify, a few qualifications, if you qualify, that's free food for the community that we work to make sure we're trying to address food insecurity. So with that, I thank you, and it looks like we got a question.
No.
Then never mind. All right.
Very quickly, you mentioned Webster Avenue,
Yeah.
and you mentioned the car washes, and the persistence is totally necessary. But there's also a lot of speeding, and I don't know if DOT is on the case as we speak to do their assessment, but that's also honestly needed.
Yeah, they've come up with different plans for that. I think the last one I saw was paint, which is, I don't think, a plan for that. You know, I'm a fan of speed bumps and speed humps. I think a person will drive over paint or speed over paint, but I don't think they're going to drive very quickly over a speed bump to mess up their car.
Thank you.
No one wants to mess up their ride. Yeah.
Hi. So we're just not going to hop back into the previous thing that you walked in on. I'm just going to simply ask going forward. Can your office be a part of the upcoming meeting that Mr. Patel is going to be joining the Housing Committee with? So that there's a little more transparency between your agency and him, and therefore us.
Yeah, and I want to be clear on a few things, because this is two things. One is I'm not an agency, I'm the city council member, and we don't control or decide where shelters are. I am just hearing about this meeting for the first time. I or someone from my office will be there. If I just want to make sure it fits in the schedule, but I could say if it does, I'll have a representative there. But I want to be very clear, we advocate, but ultimately we unfortunately don't make these final decisions about where shelters go. And I know sometimes we get communications, why did you put a shelter here? We don't, but we fight the best we can. And again, that only happens when there's outreach. So I appreciate this outreach, and I appreciate the collaboration. And again, if it fits, we will have someone there, absolutely.
Awesome.
If not me.
Because it's not more or less boiling you down to being an agency. It's just that you have different resources available at your office that maybe isn't entirely clear to Mr. Patel as well as everyone else here. So it would be great to have a representative from your office present.
Well, to be fair to the councilman, this is on Boston Road. It's not in your district. Kevin was here. This is what he was talking about when he was here earlier.
Yeah, I like to hear that. Blame Kevin. That's what I'm just kidding. I love Kevin very much.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you.
You're
something.
welcome to attend, but it's not in your neighborhood. Yeah.
And just while we're on housing, I do want to let you know something we just did in my office. We received a number of complaints about a particular building in the district, and a lot of the landlord was not good. And what we did was we arranged a Know Your Rights session, a tenant association, tenant building meeting. We knocked on the doors of every single apartment and flyered the apartment. And this evening, the residents, we had over a dozen residents from that building come to my office, and they are now organizing a tenants association and creating their list of demands, and my office is supporting that. So if there's a building in the community that you think, that you live in, and your living conditions are subpar, I mean, you shouldn't be living like that, let us know. We will help you organize. We will help you. I will personally, like I did here, if I'm available again, knock doors with you and make sure that you have a safe and healthy living environment. Thank you. No,
How you doing, Mr. Dinowitz? Thanks for being here today. So I was in contact with someone from your office, Danella Smith.
So she's with the Assemblyman's office, but yes.
Okay, so I've been in contact back and forth. I know you mentioned Webster Avenue. I know there's a huge issue on the Reed. On Bronx Boulevard, there's been a huge issue with commercial traffic and leaving their vehicles there for days at a time. Also, the trash that's being dumped by the Metro North, that Metro North breezeway back by Bollard Avenue. I've been in contact with your office several times back and forth with the 4/7th Commander and haven't gotten any meaningful results. So if that's something that could be addressed, I'd definitely appreciate it.
So I'm going to say this in your direction. I'm not going to say who I'm actually saying this to. I'm talking to Alina. Again, that's not my office, but I do know that the Assemblyman's office has great constituent services, and Danella is dynamite. That I'll start backwards with the police. The police across the board, we feel, do need to be more responsive. If it's a matter of resources, that's a conversation to have. That's why we brought in citywide command to do Webster Avenue. But if there's a particular issue with the 4-7, I suggest after I respond to your other ones, just turn around and have a conversation, because she's from the mayor's office and that is an executive agency. Again, we do the advocacy. Sometimes we have great results and sometimes it just doesn't work. The commercial vehicles, it's actually interesting you bring that up. We passed legislation today, which I was a co-prime sponsor of, which requires the mayor's office to find in every borough a place for these commercial vehicles to park. Because there's a few issues. One is it's illegal, they shouldn't be parking on our streets, but also they need a place to park. And there are however many sides to that you want to say, fine, but we've said it's incumbent upon the mayor to find places. And we've always been a partner with anyone who's asked. If we can help, we'll help. But there should be parking for them in the borough. And if you want more details, I can tell you when it's supposed to be implemented. I would just have to look it up. Maybe Lena could look it up. And then the illegal dumping, if you give us the locations, we can talk to DSNY. We've set up some cameras in the neighborhood. Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I know a number of them are in Wakefield, but these cameras catch the illegal dumping. And they've issued summonses and done other, I think they've actually impounded some vehicles as a result. So I'll just talk to you after and get the exact location of that. Did that address all your things? Okay, thanks.
Those cameras for DSNY dumping, how do we get those installed? Is there a limited amount of those? Because I'm trying to get one for a different part of the neighborhood. I'd like to know some information. Thanks.
So I think some of those DSNY installs themselves, but the ones we've done, I've done through discretionary funding. They're quite expensive, so it really does need to be in a location that has a high amount of illegal, like persistent problems. And we can also move cameras. If they're finding it's not in one location, we can move it. And cleaning up and having a clean neighborhood is very important. We fund an organization called the Hort. They're looking at planters on White Plains Road a little farther north of here to beautify the neighborhood. And then we fund organizations that do routes. We have a route here on White Plains Road that does cleanup. I don't know the schedule, but it's maybe weekly they do cleanups. And then if there's a particular site, let my office know and we'll send them out there to do the cleanup or graffiti removal. Thank you.
Any other questions before we move on? Thank you, Council Member Dinowitz. We appreciate you coming. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next part of the agenda, which is to accept the board minutes. So we're going to take a vote on the approval of our board minutes for June 2023. Mute. Okay. Ms. Benitez? Okay. Carla?
They all ran away.
Okay, just for our new board members to know, so this is approval of the board minutes for our June 22nd, 2023 meeting. So now we're going to take a vote to accept the board minutes. Carla? Aye. Thank you. Patricia Boswell? Michelle Broomsfield? Victor Brown? Deacon Edward Brown? Okay, absent. Desiree Campbell? She's excused, yeah. Sadie Campbell? Sadie, you're on mute. You're on mute, Sadie. Thumbs up or down? Yes. Joan?
I'm here virtually.
We're voting on minutes.
Oh.
The board minute for the June 2023. Yay or nay?
Yay.
Etonia? Yes?
They weren't members of the vote.
The what?
They weren't members of the board, so they can't vote.
Huh?
They weren't here.
They can vote if they read the minutes. They're full-fledged voting members. If they read the minutes and they have no objection to it,
They can vote. Okay, Chris? Chris? Yes? Tolene? Tolene?
Yes.
Denise.
Denise Echevarria? Okay.
Alfredo.
Alfredo?
Kartika.
Kartika?
Yeah, thumbs up.
Kartika, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yay.
Yay.
Johnny Goff excused.
She's excused. Darren Grant? Darren? What's your vote? Yay or nay? We're voting on the board minutes. Okay. Sheila? Okay. Sandra? Gross?
Yes.
Robert Hall?
Yes.
Carrie Ann is not here. John Isaac? Theodore James? Okay. Keisha Martin? Yes. Robert Link? Javad? Mark? Mark Luke? He's not here?
He was done.
So what it?
You can abstain, you can vote yes.
Okay. Lucille Martin? Clinton Mike? Yes. Carmen Ortiz?
Yes.
Queenie's not here. Reginald Paris? Abstain. Ariel Peters? Abstain? Okay. Anthony Reed? Yes.
What is that?
He said yes.
Okay.
Dr. Sherry Samuels? Yes. Carl Stricker's not here. Benga? Yes. Luke?
Yes.
Yes. Deborah Tirado?
Yes. Yes.
Damon?
I abstain.
Deborah Walker? Aye. Ryan Walters is not here. Esther?
Not here, right?
Esther's not here.
Yeah, and then you.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
Oh, all right, I'm sorry. Oh, we didn't even do that. All right.
Your aye?
Yes. Oh, here.
Okay, now we'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Can I get a second? Okay. Michelle, did you capture that? Yes, okay, great. Now we're moving on to the financial reports. Arlene?
Good evening, family. This is going to be really quick. We have $2,660 in our Sunshine Fund. I will be sending out an email to all of the members regarding the Sunshine Fund and anything else. My information is in the chat if you need to reach out to me. Those that are there, get home safe. Everybody else, have a blessed night.
Okay, thank you for that. Okay, new business. So we're gonna, I had a few items to vote on. The first one, the vote for the Royal Hotel. We're gonna push that to the committee. So the next thing we are voting on is a continuance of the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee to address matters such as combining, reducing number of standing committees, amendments, bylaws, etc. As you all know, we have a lot of standing committees, and they are in person. So we'd like to, consider and take a vote to condense them and combine some of our committee meetings. This will also allow more members to participate. And so I would like to make a motion to vote for the continuance of the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee. Okay, who did first? Carla? Okay, second? Yeah. So first it was Carla, and second?
Just a question. Is this to actually consolidate?
Yes.
Great. Okay, I second.
Great. Thank you. Great. Okay, and so the conversation that we've been having a conversation pretty much this evening, shelters, thinking, questions, right, how we see our district. We also have to think of those residents that are already part of this community. So we'll continue the conversation. Any questions before we close? Oh, we take the one. Yeah. Okay. Apologies. We're going to take a vote for the continuance of the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee. Ms. Benitez?
I wouldn't. How can I do this? Usually when we're running this late, I try to say how many people will say aye.
Was anybody object?
Well, first of all, any objections?
Any abstentions?
Any abstentions?
So I have a question.
Okay.
Would this be a space to ask it, or is there like later?
A question about?
About like the bylaw, the 4 committees.
Sure. What's your question?
So right now there are 12, and they're in the document specifies that those 12 are going to be divided into the 4 committees, but it doesn't necessarily state which committees would be divided within each of these 4 committees. Would there be like a new reassignment of who is in these committees, or would it just be like the people in these current committees will just be pushed into whatever 4?
Yeah, I think so. Is this what you're talking about? You read it in George's report?
I'm reading. It says District Manager's Report, September 28, 2023.
Yes, that's George. Before it I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Kartika? Kartika, before we get to that, we have to vote on continuing the bylaws committee, the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee, and that's where we will have the conversation of how best to consolidate. So
Gotcha.
there'll be an opportunity.
Gotcha. So first you're voting to see if...
To continue the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee.
I'm not understanding, sorry.
So the vote is the continuance of the Bylaws Committee, the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee. So first we need to vote on, do we want to continue that, which we would need to in order to condense and consolidate. We would have to go through the Bylaws Committee to amend and change the bylaws as they stand. So that's what we're taking the vote on, to continue that committee.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Gotcha. A little bit.
Okay, so the Bylaws Committee.
So
Yes.
we would come back next month for the final vote after the bylaws committee recommend?
No. This is just to bring us back to life again, the Ad Hoc Bylaws Committee.
Yeah.
And we usually, since it's an ad hoc committee, we have to usually renew that every single year, okay? So it's not like the standing committees that we have currently. Yes, before we actually get into the digs
The
of it.
creation of the bylaws committee would address any issues. We've been talking about, I've been talking about the consolidation for quite some time. Actually, I'm talking about eliminating almost every committee with the exception of the 4 that I outlined here. And then making changes to the governance as well of how the board is governed. But you can't do that because ad hoc committee is specifically designed to deal with specific issues. It expires every year. If you want to continue, we could have an ad hoc committee on homeless shelters, for example. You could do ad hoc committees on specific items and then set forth in that what it is that you want to tackle. So that's what we're voting on, Kartika. We're just voting to extend the bylaws, the ad hoc bylaws committee, so that we can discuss basically anything that the bylaws has. Go ahead, Michelle.
Sorry, one more. This may sound like a dumb question. The bylaws, where are they? Is that something that you sent us, or?
You picked it up when you were here on Saturday.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
So my question is then, I'm sorry, so at what point do we get to the condensing of the committees? Like how long the process? So right now we're gonna vote on extending the ad hoc committees. So how long would it take for us to get to the part of condensing these 12 committees that that we don't need to really have?
So that's really up to you as board members. So we vote today for the extension or the, keeping up the bylaws committee, and then you get to it. You schedule a meeting next month or whenever you want. We have to pick a chair, and then
We're waiting for Mr.
Yeah.
Wayne to let us know.
Okay, but way to put you on the spot, Wayne. But we create the committee, and then you have committee meetings where these issues are discussed. So however long you can have one meeting, you can have 5 meetings. But it goes from year to year.
We can do it in one. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, in reference to voting, again, I'm going to ask the question, anyone abstaining? Anyone saying no? Do I have a unanimous aye?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye.
It's so moved and carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thanks for your time and your dedication. We look forward to developing this collective and continuing in our assessing of the needs. So with this, I'd like to make a motion to close. Okay, Anthony Reed first, and who did the second? Okay, I know your name. Second. Thank you all. Good night.
Good night. I have my hand raised, so we don't acknowledge hands.
Wait a minute. Now it's officially over, so you can turn off the cameras. We have to sing happy birthday to Ursula. Somebody go get Ursula. She's been hiding. No, hold on. Wait, but I want her to hear us, unless we scream really loud. Ursula. I'll go get her. Oh, here she comes. All right. 1, 2, 3. Everybody, shh. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ursula. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, everyone.
Heart and soul of the community board. So we love you. We very much love you.